Yeah, my name is Mr. Best. I'm one of the assistant principals here at second year, and among some of my other duties, I do support our gifted program as well as our advanced placement program. So today we're going to talk through just a few things, some commonly asked questions, some commonly asked scenarios, as well as give you some resources and information you'll need as the AP exam registration window opens this Friday, the 26th. So we're going to go through a lot of data on the slides. And again, if you have a question, please drop it in the chat or just come off mute and let me know. Yeah. So we're going to talk about why take AP exams. What is the purpose of it? We're going to show you some parent resources and things that you can use, not just through the registration window, but throughout the year. And we'll look a little bit at last year's data. Obviously, second year, they give us 5-year data, but this is our 4th year as a school. So we'll see what our exam data has looked like. We'll look at that briefly. We'll talk about some important dates for this 25-26 school year, including the registration window, exams, and some other deadlines. We'll talk about some things that you need to know for AP exam registration. Talk about SSD accommodations. So again, if your student is, has extended time or they have any particular SSD accommodation, typically for students that have a 504, special ed, or ELL, we'll talk about what that process looks like and who our SSD coordinator is. We're going to look at some demos from My Payments Plus. That's actually through the handout that the county provides, showing you how to actually go into My Payments Plus and how to register. We'll look at some example scenarios to be like, okay, if my kid is this, how much would I owe? What would it look like? I'm going to ask you guys for some feedback. We've sent this out as well via Parent Square. We are looking to offer some courses here in the future at second year, but of course we want to gauge interest. And then lastly, we'll have a period of Q&A. So that'll kind of shape our meeting. So why take AP exams? And this is the question that always comes up. And, AP exams, obviously the course itself is rigorous. It's challenging. It is a college level course that students are taking in high school. But in order to receive the credit through colleges, students do have to take the AP exam and, obviously do well. So what that score looks like differs for different universities. And always tell people, definitely if your student knows, the schools they're looking at, they're able to select those when they take the AP exam. They'll automatically have those scores sent to those colleges and universities. But certainly if you know where you want to go, you want to do your research because there are some schools that only take 4 and 5s on AP exams. Most schools in the United States take 3, 4, or 5. But again, there's some schools that, don't take certain AP courses. So you certainly want to do your research on that. It's certainly something where your students can save quite a lot of money. It doesn't necessarily seem like it on the front end, but, if you're paying $99 for a course or an exam, and then, you look at the typical college credit hours, where you have 600, 900, or whatever it may be, or God forbid you go out of state and it's, really high, it could be a lot you could save on the back end by taking these courses as well. So there are a lot of benefits to challenging yourself. And I always tell the story. My oldest daughter, she is 22. She just graduated from the University of West Georgia, May 16th. Anybody's hiring, let me know. I'm trying to get her out of my house, but that was a whole other story. So she graduated with her BS in film and video production. She wants to work in the movie industry. And it's funny, she was cursed to have 2 teachers who were language arts teachers, myself and my wife, and her writing was poor. I remember she went in her senior year at Shiloh and she told me, Dad, I'm taking ceramics, I'm doing this. I said, no, you're taking AP. She's like, why? I said, because you need to learn how to write. And she was not very happy. But when I say I'm thankful for those teachers because of the rigor and the challenge. And to be honest, she didn't do well in the AP exam. This was during the pandemic. And, she actually took a shortened version of the test online. Didn't do well at all, didn't get the credit. But I remember 2 years later at the University of West Georgia, she called and said, hey, Dad, I'm working in the writing center. And I'm like, doing what? Are you cleaning? What are you doing? She's like, no, tutoring. And I was like, just stunned. But, that's the progression she had made because she challenged herself and took that course. And even though she didn't receive the credit, she prepared herself well, when she got to college. So I do think there's an unlimited benefit to taking AP courses. The exam is a cherry on the top that you can actually get that credit and receive it. Had she passed, she would not have had to take, English 101. However, she didn't. She took it over, but she did well. So again, there are a lot of benefits to taking this in addition to saving those funds. So these are resources that are for you. this is the presentation from tonight. This handout is pretty pertinent. We're actually going to look at slides from this handout that actually shows you what it looks like when you get into My Payments Plus, when the window opens on Friday, and what to click, how to click, and where to go. You'll also see some directions for downloading it. Some people like to do it on their phone as opposed to the computer. You'll see that survey, which is actually on a later slide. And then you have some resources, our SKG Advanced Placement website, where you can find a lot of information as well as monthly awards. And then we got a big future scholarship winner. Every month, our AP Club nominates students from different content areas for AP Student of the Month. So you'll see that there. You have our course catalog, which has information for all courses, as well as information on all AP courses offered at secondary high school. And this information is the exam packet. Last year, we didn't put it out until spring. We're trying to get it out pretty early. And it talks about what your kid would literally look like or need the day of the exam, what they would need to bring, where they need to go, what they need to prepare. I say subject to change because the only thing that's really different this year is that in years past, students came directly into the gym, atrium to check in. Due to our new Evolve weapons system, unfortunately, we won't be able to do that. Students will have to come in the building, go through the Evolve weapons detection system, and then go back to the gym. So it'll look a little bit different. That's the biggest change from this year to last year. And then there's some marketing flyers for MPP. So again, for anybody that has not downloaded My Payments Plus, all that information is there. So again, we don't have 5-year data, obviously, because this is our 4th year. But you will see that every year our data has increased for AP. A lot of that, I think, is due to our partnership with Equal Opportunity Schools. We have a lot of survey fatigue in Gwinnett County. So we had our health screener, which was the EES survey. Now we're doing the EOS survey. And a lot of the EOS survey helps us to identify students that may not always necessarily have the opportunity to take AP courses, but they have the potential, whether it's growth mindset. We use the PSAT and PSAT potential to show us, okay, a kid has never taken an AP class or an honors class or a gifted class, but they have the potential to succeed. So we've used that, if you'll see, to increase our numbers every year with that partnership, and we continue to have that partnership. So you'll see that the number of students that had a score of 3+ increased from 82 to 85%, from 649 students to 776. The total number of students taking AP exams went from 794 to 918. And you'll see the total number of exams that students took went from 1,641 to 2,098. You will see kind of the only negative is that our target goal was to be above 90% again for students taking exams. We did go down from 91% of our kids taking it to 87%. But and you'll see the 5-year score report. You can average see there as well. And that's just for those visual learners like me that want to see that in graph. So some important dates to know. Obviously, this is the second date of our optional exam registration meeting. Year-long registration. Again, that is for year-long courses. That applies to every course except for US Gov, AP Micro, AP Macro, and AP Comparative Government and Politics. Every other course is year-long. So if your student is taking AP US Gov and year-long classes, you can certainly go ahead and register for all of them now during the window. There is a second window just for those 4 classes that opens in January and March, but the registration window for year-long classes opens on Friday, September 26th, and it ends, and then it closes on Sunday, November 9th at 11:59 p.m. And if, let's say, you still want to take a year-long course, but you decide to register in February, you can still do that. However, any registration outside of that window, it does accrue a $40 late fee per exam. So obviously you want to try to do that during the window, which opens Friday the 26th and closes at 11:59 p.m. on Sunday, November 9th. So we talked about EOS a little bit. We are going to have a meeting on November 13th and 8th period, which is our block period, by invitation only. And again, that'll be for students that have never taken an AP course that show the potential on the PSAT or through the EOS survey. We invite them, pour into them, give them information about AP, and try to encourage them to take courses. We also are going to do an AP Club Fair, which is something we have not done in the past. Last year, for those of you that remember, we actually combined our dual enrollment night with the AP night. And AP nights are great, but unfortunately, not everybody can make it. There were a lot of people that unfortunately couldn't. So what we are doing this year is having a block period during the day where every student at the school will have the availability to go talk to some students and teachers about courses to get them information for next year. Obviously, seniors, that won't really apply to you, but Obviously you have a freshman, sophomore, junior. This will help them to register because that's right before our registration window to get ready for classes for next year, for 26, 27. You'll see we will also offer Saturday mock exams. A lot of our classes do their mock exams during the school day. So you may be like, well, why is my class not offering a Saturday mock exam? Because their teacher most likely mocked during the actual school day. Not everybody does Saturday mocks. A lot still do because we set it up just like the exam. The kids get the experience of that and they get the actual practice of what it looks like, the timing and everything else. So we will have that on Saturday, April 18th, and Saturday, April 25th. We usually start at 8 o'clock and we end at 4 o'clock. We like to do it, set up the structure just like a regular day, where they could do an AM exam and do a PM because some students will be taking 2 exams in the same day. And then you'll see the AP exam window for testing. Week 1 is May 4th through 8th. Week 2 is May 11th through the 15th. And I'm crossing my fingers. Hopefully we don't need anything in the late testing or exception window. But if a student has a conflict, because sometimes this happens, like I'm taking French, but I'm also taking statistics, and they're offered at the same time. They do allow you to take one of those exams in the late testing window without, having to pay anything extra, because that would be a conflict. There are certain other circumstances where, again, things happen. God forbid you had a death in the family, something happened and you can't make the exam date. You can move to late testing window without being charged a fee. If you move late testing window because you went out on a date, that's not a good reason. Okay, they would still allow you to test, but they would charge you $40 extra to move to the late testing window. So we do have a late testing window if there's conflicts or if something arises that means the student can attend. And we'll talk about this a little bit later on, but if a student registers and doesn't show up, they are charged a $40 unused fee. I'm really hoping we don't need the exception testing window. That's pretty rare. Last year, we had a perfect administration to the very last day, and psychology crashed nationwide, and we had to use exception testing, which was the week after Memorial Day, to test some students. So hopefully that will not happen. But again, that's pretty rare. Again, these dates and times, you can find this information on our website. It's on the College Board website. But again, it tells you the times. And again, times are either AM beginning at 8 o'clock or 12 o'clock. So those are the 2 times that they offer for exams. Now, you will see that we do have some classes, AP Art, AP Drawing, 2D, Seminar, Research, and Computer Science Principles, where they actually do a performance task. So they don't actually sit down and take a traditional exam. They do have a different deadline. So you'll see that April 30th is the deadline for them to submit their performance task. And for Computer Science Principles, their task they actually take and use it on the exam. So if you don't do the task on time, you really aren't going to get credit for the exam. And one thing that our art teachers have done, because they are brilliant, is that every year they have had an issue where the website somehow crashes, something happens, and people struggle to get their submissions in on time. So what our art teachers do is that we have a day, the deadline is May 8th for art submissions, and they have to upload their online portfolio. We take May 6th. Those teachers are given that day off, they get subs, and our kids are marked as ACT. They're excused to go and work with those teachers. They can get theirs submitted 2 days early, so they don't have to worry about anything crashing, and they can get it in on time. So that's something we've done last year and we'll continue to do moving forward. It's like somebody is typing a question. That's Tiffany. Let's see once that comes through. All right, so some things that you want to make sure. Okay, so in the presentation, which you can link there, you'll see if you go on our website, you can find it. If you put in AP exam course dates or exam dates, you can find that information. But it is listed in our presentation, and I will throw that in the chat again for anybody that doesn't have it, so you can access that. So it's there, and you'll see at the bottom of that slide, it actually links you to the College Board, so you can see the information there for those dates and times. Also, on those parent resources where it says AP exam information, you'll see a page that it has what time students should check in, where they should go, the dates, times, and locations for every exam as well. So that information is there, but good question. So things that your students must have. They have to join AP Classroom. Now, again, if your student is taking a course, meaning they are actually taking AP Bio right now, they'll be enrolled in AP Classroom. And that's the resources that the teacher uses to quiz them, to test them, to give them practices. All that is in AP Classroom. Now, the question comes up, can my student take AP Biology if I'm not taking the class? Yes, they can. What happens is they need to let me know. I create what we call an exam-only section, meaning you can take the exam. However, you will not have access to the AP Classroom resources. But you can still take the exam. You just have to talk to the AP coordinator. We create an AP exam only section, and you can still test it. We had a young man last year, brilliant. He took 9 exams, and obviously he's not taking 9 classes. He took 3 classes that he took and passed, wasn't in the class. So I had to create an exam only section, meaning while he didn't have access to those AP exam resources like Classroom, he still was able to take the exam. And we're going to talk a little bit later on about what it looks like for the payment fees. So the county will pay for everybody to take 1 exam as long as you are enrolled in the course. So what that means is a lot of our 9th grade students are only enrolled in AP Human Geo. So that means that the 1 course they're taking, they don't have to pay $99 because the county already pays for that 1 course. The only thing everybody has to pay is a $15 non-refundable registration fee. And we'll talk about that a little bit later. But you'll see that if you are an exam only section, meaning if I'm only taking 1 class, but it's exam only, the county does not pay for your exam if you are not currently enrolled in the class. And again, we got a slide. We'll get to that information. So this is the biggest thing that helps me, and I'm already bald, so I can't lose hair, but it still drives me crazy, is that students, when they purchase their exam in My Payments Plus, they have to use their name as in Synergy. They use their government name. However, when students go into AP registration, APRO, their AP Classroom, they can put in nicknames, they can change names. Sometimes that makes it difficult because it's a 2-pronged process for me. I have to make sure you paid for it at MPP, then I have to go into APRO and actually order your exam through College Board. If I have students with very similar last names and nicknames, it makes it difficult sometimes. And obviously I want to make sure everything is accurate. It makes it a lot easier if students use their government name when they go into AP Classroom, the same name that's in My Payments Plus. So there is a button where they can choose a nickname and put in anything they want. I would strongly encourage your students to not do that. And our teachers have encouraged our students not to do that either. But again, they must be in AP Classroom in order for me to order an exam for them. So you can pay for it, but if your student is not in AP Classroom, I can't order an exam for you through College Board. So it's 2-part. We talked about the fact the window will open this Friday and it will close on Sunday, November 9th. And again, we have the window for our semester only courses, which will open in January and close in March. And again, students are not registered for the exam unless they both register in the classroom and they have paid. So again, it's a 2-part process. And I'm going to say this, we do expect all students to take our exams. There are some schools that have an AP contract and they tell students, yes, you have to take it, you sign a contract. I grew up in South Carolina, state paid for ours, same thing. We were told that in order to get our diploma, we did a class, we had to take it. There was no ifs, ands, or buts. So, we do expect our students to take it. However, we don't have them sign a contract. We are aware that, certainly like for instance, pre-calculus, there are some colleges that don't accept that credit. They'll accept calculus A, B, and BC, but not pre-cal. So, again, we understand there are certain exceptions, or my student is taking, I think we had a parent last year, brilliant family. I've got 3 kids, they're all taking AP classes. Obviously, that gets expensive. Again, we certainly understand. We certainly want students to take every exam. That's our expectation, but we certainly understand, and students did not have to sign a contract, I will say that. So for AP exam fees, every student that is enrolled in the course gets 1 free exam paid for by the county. All exams are $99. And that is actually new this year because in the past, AP Capstone, AP Research, AP Seminar used to be $147. So this year, everything is $99, which is good. So if you are in the course, Gwinnett County will pay for at least 1 of your exams. So freshman parents that are taking only 1 class, you can rejoice. That means that 1 fee is paid for by the county. Now, everybody has to pay a one-time non-refundable $15 registration fee. So if I have a student who's taking human geography, that's the only course they're taking, that means that I'm in the course, my fee is waived. The only thing I'm responsible for is $15 because everybody has to pay that fee. Let's say that my student wants to take that class, but he is not in that course. That means I create an exam-only section. They would pay the $99 and the $15 registration fee. Now, if you are free and reduced lunch, you do not pay for any exam. So the deadline for free and reduced lunch was September 15th. As long as you completed that application, if I'm taking 5 exams and I'm a free and reduced student, the only thing I pay is the $15 non-refundable registration fee. Each of those exams is paid for if you are free and reduced lunch. Again, exam-only students, your exams are $99 per exam plus the $15. Now, notice, I think we talked about this earlier. If you order an exam outside of that window that's year-long, you can still order the exam all the way up until March 15th, but it will be a $40 late fee if you order it past November 9th. Okay, it looks like Got a question coming in. So I'll pause for that. I think we also talked about this again. If your student does not show up for an exam, they will be charged a $40 unused fee. And I'm actually going to get into some, well, I'll get into some scenarios in a minute. It looks like we got a couple questions coming through. So SSD accommodations. If your student is special ed, they have a 504 or they're ELL, the only way to get accommodations is to apply through the College Board. This is not accommodations offered to students through Gwinnett County Public Schools. So the College Board is the only person that can approve SSD accommodations. So for freshmen, are they supposed to be enrolled in the course now? Do you need for 10th grade? Yeah, so what I'm saying is that we do have ninth graders taking AP courses. However, just because of the way our pathways are set up, there are very few courses that AP students can take as ninth graders. Most take human geography. If you're taking accelerated geometry, you can also take statistics, because that's pretty rare as a ninth grader. Depending on maybe you came out of state or you took maybe Algebra 1 in 8th grade, sometimes you see that. But again, typically most ninth graders are only taking AP Human. They're only taking that one course. So a lot of times ninth graders just have one, whereas every other grade could be taking multiple. So does that answer your question? And if you need to come off mute, that's fine too. But I want to make sure I'm answering the question. Okay. Yep. And like I said, it's obviously we don't have a lot of students that take accelerated geometry, but those students that do are eligible. They can take statistics through the pathway. They have a lot more options than students that don't. But again, that's we don't have a lot of students that do that. Again, Miss Draper, Emily Draper is actually what are my students taking these AP courses in their future college doesn't accept it? What's the percentage of schools? Most colleges accept AP. I'll be honest, I think they had a hard time figuring out international baccalaureate and IB because they do a portfolio that's weird. But I was at IB school, my youngest daughter was there too. But most colleges accept AP courses. It's out of state, yeah. I mean, College Board is nationwide. It's not just in the state of Georgia. Again, I would do your research, make sure your college does accept it, but most colleges do accept College Board the exams. Again, you'll want to make sure that whether they accept a 3, a 4, or a 5. Most colleges have that information on their website, or you can call their registrar office. But again, yeah, I would say it's overwhelming that most colleges do accept College Board credit. So Ms. Draper is our SSD coordinator, and you'll see our contact information there. Again, how do you actually request SSD accommodations? So there is a link to the College Board website. If you go there, it'll give you all the information on how to actually apply for that, as well as the form. You do have to complete the form, and once you've done that, you bring it to the school. You turn it into Ms. Draper, who's our SSD coordinator. She'll submit it. Now, the good news you'll see at the bottom, if maybe you had a student that tested last year and had SSD accommodations approved, you do not have to apply again. You only have to apply once. And once you do, you have those SSD accommodations with you, not only through high school, but also 1 year removed from high school. If you have never applied, then yes, you'd want to do that. And I would recommend you do it early. It is not a quick process, not necessarily tedious. It's just not necessarily fast. Obviously, they're doing this for the entire country. And sometimes the turnaround can be like 4 weeks. So you certainly don't want to be applying for SSD accommodations, close to the exam time. You want to get that done as soon as possible. So taking AP Human and choose to take AP Statistics, would it be 99? Yes. So again, for every additional exam, if you are not free and reduced lunch, every additional exam is $99. So if, let's say, you are not free and reduced lunch and your student is taking 2 exams, first exam would be paid for. You still have the $15 non-refundable fee, and then you would have $99 for the second exam. So you would have that 99 plus the 15. That would be your total fee if you chose to take a second exam. Again, as long as you're enrolled in the course, the county is going to pay for your first exam. Your second exam, $99 would be on you if you're not free and reduced lunch. If you are free and reduced lunch in that scenario, you're still only paying $15 no matter how many exams you take. So how do you register? This is probably the most important information here. And again, this is one of the handouts that says, how do you register for the exams? When you go in, you can go into MPP right now, but the problem is you'll see where it says AP exams in the lower left hand. You click on it, nothing's going to pop up. that's not going to populate until this Friday when the window opens on the 26th. So on Friday, if you go in and you click here right beneath activities and you click there, it's going to take you to this page. At that point in time, you will see every AP class offered at Secondary High School, and you'll see that there is a blue register button. There's also some information, a hyperlink about the exam, as well as the exam date. So when you click there, you can then click on that class, and again, you'll see the dates for the exam. You'll see some check boxes. I understand that I'm able to cancel this. Please click here to digitally sign. You'll see the hyperlink to info about the exam. You will see the date and time of the exam. And then it'll ask you, do you need any special accommodations based on your IEP or 504, yes or no? And again, once you do that, they'll have this pop up just letting you know, okay, that, if you require those special accommodations. And at that point in time, you'll hit the register button. And notice, you can register for all of your exams at this point in time. So you can go in and do, if the student's taking 4 exams, you can register for all 4 at the same time. You can piecemeal it. You can do it however you'd like. But once you add that to the cart, you will see it in the upper right-hand corner. And this is really the same process at the beginning of the year when people would purchase parking. If you have younger kids, purchase like supplies, donations, all that stuff. Putting money on your lunch account, you will see it pop up here in the checkout. Now, the neat part is it's going to calculate this automatically. So if you're a free and reduced student, you put 4 exams in the cart, the total is going to be $15. It communicates with Synergy, which is our grade book, which has all of our student information. Again, if you are not free and reduced, that first class is going to pop up as free, but then everything after that will be $99. So it does communicate with Synergy based on what we have in the system. College Board, I actually have to go in and manually put in your free and reduced status, which is fine, obviously, it's part of the job, but like I said, to make sure that students are getting that discount through College Board. So, no, this is for the current year. Yeah, we're not talking about next year. So this is based on the current school year they're registered in right now. So, yeah. So the courses the exams they're taking in May are the classes they are currently enrolled in. So hopefully that makes sense. But if I'm enrolled in AP Bio right now, I'm taking the AP Bio exam in May. I'm enrolled in AP Human Geo. I'm taking AP Human Geo. I'm taking AP Calculus, AB or BC. I'll be taking that exam in May of this year. Yeah, we haven't got it next year. So. No, that would be all that you have to do. Once Ms. Draper gets that, she submits that to the College Board, and then they follow up with you. So if you have submitted that form to Ms. Draper, you're good to go. And again, if you've already been approved for accommodations, you do not have to submit it again this year. So if you had approved accommodations to the College Board, you are good until your student graduates high school. You do not need to submit that again. So again, you'll see here, like these are just the last couple slides where they show you that this is where you submit payment, and then you'll be good to go. So some of these scenarios I'm going to go over, we kind of already talked about, but I like to kind of go over in detail and just have them again. So again, my student wants to take an AP exam, but they are not currently enrolled in the course. So your student can pay $99 to take the exam, but they need to let me know because I have to give them a join code for an exam-only section. Because they're not enrolled in the course, I have to give them a special section. Again, they do not have access to AP Classroom, but they still have to take it, and they will pay $99. So they'll need a join code for this section, and they will not have access to AP Classroom. Okay, so coming from private school, okay, no, they don't have to take the exam before being admitted to the course. I don't want to imagine what our scores would look like if that's the case, but yeah, you take the course first, and then you take the exam on the back end. So that was how it worked. Private schools like that. So it says my student is enrolled in the course and they're only taking 1 exam. How much will I pay? Again, if your student is enrolled in the course, Gwinnett County Public Schools is going to pay the first $99 fee. The only thing you would pay in that situation is the $15 non-refundable. Okay. So if your student is enrolled in 4 courses and they're taking all 4 exams, how much will you pay? So GCPS is going to pay for the first exam. You'd have to pay for the next 3. So do the math there. 3 times 99, $297. Plus the $15 non-refundable fee you have to pay for anything. So that'd be a total of $312. So if you were taking 4 courses and your student is enrolled in those courses, you would pay for 3 of them plus the $15 non-refundable fee. Gwinnett County Public Schools would cover 1 of the exams. Again, if your student was same student and they're taking 4 exams, but they're free and reduced lunch, they only pay $15. Their exams are paid for. The only thing they would pay is $15. And again, can I still register for a year-long exam after November 9th? Yes, you can. However, cannot register in My Payments Plus. So a lot of times the deadline expires and people are like, I can't find it on My Payments Plus because it's not there. After the window closes on the 9th, you can come into the main office. We can do what we call a manual registration, meaning our bookkeeper goes in and registers your student for you. But you do, again, accrue that $40 late for every exam. So you're taking 4 exams, you decide to pay for all 4 after the deadline, you're paying 99 plus 40 for each exam. So, obviously it's to your benefit to pay during the window and not add that $40 late fee. So I'm going to pause there. Are there any questions about some of the frequently asked questions about fees? Again, feel free to come off mute if you like. We only got 12 here tonight, so it's not exactly standing room only. So I think we had 33 at our last meeting. So if you want to just come off mute, that's fine as well. Practice my wait time. But other than that, I will move on. All right. So this is where we can certainly get your input. And again, I'm going to drop this one last time in here just so if you don't have the presentation, you can have it. But, we're always looking to offer new courses. There's some new courses coming down the pipe at AP. And we just want to see whether we have the student interest, parent interest, really even the teacher capacity to offer these. So the ones you'll see in this survey, and there are a couple of others that the county's offering. Like I think there's AP networking right now that's pretty neat, but that's not in the survey. But we are looking to see AP Business Finance, AP Cybersecurity, AP US Women's History, AP A&P or Anatomy and Physiology, AP European, and then AP Physics, Electricity, and Magnetism. We offer AP Physics 1 algebra-based, and we offer AP Physics C mechanics right now, but we do not offer AP Physics 2, nor do we offer AP Physics C E&M. So these are courses that we're considering offering if we have enough interest. Yes, African American Studies will still be offered. That is offered this year. We have 2 sections of that class. So roughly about 70 students taking it this year. And this is the first year it's being offered, and Coach Cheryl is teaching that. So yeah, we're not taking courses away. These are simply courses we're talking about offering in addition to what we currently have. So you can click there, like I said, it's on our website, but I would certainly encourage you we love all feedback. We just want to know if we have enough interest to do it. In order to teach an AP course, we have to send teachers to what they call APSI or AP Summer Institute, which they have all over the nation. And then they're trained for it. And then they also there's some additional training that goes into that. And all of our teachers are either gifted endorsed or they have gone through the gifted characteristics course offered through the county. So again, you'll see that. That is pretty much all that I have for you all tonight. Again, hopefully those resources helped. Hopefully this has been beneficial to you. And again, I think there is a Parent Square reminder I have set up to come out on Friday morning, just reminding everybody the window is open. And there'll be another one that goes out a couple of days before, I think November 7th, when I have it scheduled. Just remind you, hey, you got 2 more days before it closes. But again, I'm always around. My contact information is there. I am in and out of my office, but like I said, feel free to email, call. And again, if you have any questions, just please let me know. Again, thank everybody for being here.